Take two in case you caught or missed the first one. We're not dead. Thanks, Emma, for asking. We'll be back right after this. All right, here we are. Good morning, Heather. Thanks for tuning in.
Top of the morning to you.
I'm still trying to clear out all the allergy gunk that's been bugging
The
me
pollen that gets up in good nuises and creates the snots.
I'm convinced this was an allergy-induced cold season that everybody has had it. And the good news is it only lasts a few days.
Yeah.
Really?
But then it hangs on forever. Well, I mean, like I feel sick for a couple days, and then you just have that.
The residual sinus.
I think it's the sinus stuff that turns into...
it says like a sinus infection.
Yeah, and like bronchitis and...
Like the pollen irritates everything, and then boom,
Yep.
you got a situation that doesn't want to go away.
Well, everybody's saying howdy this morning.
I don't know. Good morning.
It's good to hear from everybody. I like that.
They were worried about us there for about 10
like,
minutes.
What happened? Where'd they go?
Mark Zuckerberg came in.
Minor technical difficulties.
Shut the thing down.
I'm envisioning what that would look like in my head, and it's weird. Zuckerberg coming in.
I'm pretty sure he'd come in on a drone.
Oh yeah, I mean, because he's like an android, so.
Yeah, coming in on a drone.
I'm trying the strawberry rose latte from Story this morning, and it's good. It's unique. The first drink, I was like, what?
It's the Mother's Day special.
It's very tasty. I can't stop drinking it.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way. It's coming up this week.
It's happening.
This Sunday.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day to all you all.
I have drip coffee.
Me
just
too.
a drip coffee.
Drip.
Well, I'm just saying you guys are missing out.
Drip for days.
I'm sure you're right. We're missing out. It is coming up Mother's Day.
That sounded weird. Per my normal.
Oh, Ballard.
Whatever.
What did that do?
What did you do?
I don't know. It could be our thing, or it could be who knows. I think we're still live. Okay.
Well, yeah, my feed is kind of frozen up here on my phone. Is yours kind of frozen up?
Let us know if we're frozen. Are we a little max headroom today?
Oh, no, we're moving again now.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's just your phones.
We'll call it solar flares.
Solar flares. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well,
I think it's because we said the Z word, and so they had to...
Oh, yeah, they had to check. What are they saying about the
system
Zuck?
Engaged. Servers fired up in a room somewhere far away, and they're like, record everything they're saying.
You hear the sirens going off, like
somebody
in its hidden layer.
The Z, man.
Okay, well, we have lots of moms in our feed right now. Tell us what your Mother's Day plans are. Do you guys have plans?
We're going to graduation. That's what we're doing for Mother's Day.
I know. Yeah. I guess that is a good Mother's Day present.
Yeah, I think it kind of is. You know, there was some discussion about, that I think the initial comment was, whose dumb idea was it to put graduation on
They've done that for a long time,
Isn't it apropos? I mean, because moms are, you're multitasking, you're always busy. This is what you ask for. So now you get to get up, go to church, scarf down some lunch, go to graduation, do a party, it's going to be like a true Mother's
It's
Day.
like a Mother's Day.
It's like a day set for moms. So let's see how much we can cram into one
Cram into
day.
one day. That's true.
Boy, that's this whole week.
I graduated.
That's motherhood. That's not this week. That's
right.
motherhood.
Emma's got you covered for Mother's Day. Stop by the Outpost in
That's
Apple
right.
Market Shopping Center parking lot and get some flowers.
Yesterday's my day off. Monday's my day off. And so I went by and got some tomato plants, and took a picture for Shayna and said, look, happy Mother's Day.
Look what I did.
Look what I did for you.
I've provided for you
Yeah.
the biggest tomato
So
crop.
we mentioned this a few weeks ago. I've not done a garden since before the kids.
Yeah.
And so I got just a small little bed prepared, and so I'm tiptoeing back in.
Just
so
dipping your toe in the garden water.
appreciate you, Emma. Thanks for getting me some good plants, and they're
warn
now
you.
in the ground.
It's full of disappointment.
Right. Sweetheart, your gift is like our marriage. What I give to you is big expectations with grand disappointments.
Oh, man.
And there you go.
That's some wedding vows right there.
Do you vow to disappoint me from
Yes.
this day forward? I do. But I mean well.
Yes.
Do you intend to?
My intent is pure.
Oh, man. So this will be your last Mother's Day graduation, though.
Yes.
Wow. I know
Big time.
several people that are heading into the empty nester realm. I went to 3 graduation parties on Sunday. We did the circuit. It was fun.
Yeah, I did a bunch of those on Sunday as well.
But we're
Fun times.
actually kind of, as of Saturday, we're actually going to have all 3 boys back in the house. Like, wait a minute.
What?
Every time I get out, they pull me
They
back
pull me
in.
Yeah, that's right. But, maybe by fall, maybe spring, we're not sure when Jack's going to get started at C of O. They waitlisted him for the fall.
You get to
Yeah,
get rid of
yeah.
him just to wait for him to come back in 4 years too, right?
Yeah. No, I'm sending that boy to law school if I can get it done.
You're going to law
That'll
school.
keep him out for another 3
Yep.
Love
yep.
it.
on top of that. But yeah, we'll have all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I'll be back and driving to Kirksville Saturday with the horse trailer.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I've moved with a horse trailer
8
a time or
hours.
two.
8 hours driving a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, well,
And moving and
with
loading.
moving in between was what, yeah.
In between, yeah.
Moving is the worst. I'm going to say it again and
I'm not
again
a-
and again and
I-
again.
I moved one time from our starter house into the house we built now, and I'm
It's the
staying.
worst.
We're on our 3rd home, and I'm glad because I know some people move like every couple of years.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know
some
how,
people
but
move incredibly
Well,
a
okay,
lot.
so
Yeah.
that
this
would be
last
the
one,
thing.
we're how long? 07? What?
Oh, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
Here's the thing, and I didn't realize this,
16
and I don't
years
think
in.
it would have changed anything
Wow.
about the way I lived my life, but changing homes is actually a really good wealth building strategy.
It is.
It is.
That's kind
You
of.
would know that
I would know that. Yep. That's kind of part of the deal.
because
is,
you get the equity, you sell that home, you roll it into the new bigger home, and you pay it down, and the equity builds, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again. All those are tax-free.
Yep.
You get those are tax-free gains.
Yep.
So it's a
As
trend.
long as you buy again within the year, is that?
You've got. I think that.
Or is
there's
it 2
a-
years?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I don't think there's any rules as far as that goes.
Oh, but there's a rule somewhere.
Well, it has
The
to
lawyer
be
says,
your primary residence 2 out of the last 5 years.
Okay.
And it's
There
up
you go.
to, I believe it's 250,000 in gains per individual and 500,000
As a couple.
Close to that as a couple.
I knew there were some rules. I just didn't know what
Lifetime
it was.
or per transaction.
No, per transaction.
See.
So, which was
It
interesting.
takes a long time to get caught up on that.
So traditionally, we just say to our clients, it's tax-free. Well, the past couple of years, we started getting into a couple of situations where they were getting kind of close to
The $500,000 limit.
the $500,000 limit, but that also that's on what you gain. So
Yeah,
that
that's
would
just
be
the
what
gain,
you
right,
put
the value of
in
the house. Right.
plus what you bought it for. So it's pretty. I mean, you have to be selling a pretty large house.
Sales
to get it
price,
close.
less basis, which
Yeah.
but you don't depreciate your house. That's a business
So-
expense, so that doesn't matter.
So basically, the sale's not reported to the IRS is the best way to say it. They ask you that at the closing table. So we do that commonly. We get asked that question all the time.
Heck of a deal.
So it is a great way to build wealth, especially tax-free.
If you don't mind moving. all the
If
time.
you
Because
don't mind,
moving is
that's the tax.
That's the tax.
It's called the back tax.
But you know,
Yeah.
if you were one of those.
See what I did there?
Oh, that's good. Because it is. Your back will hurt for weeks after you move.
back taxes.
The older
back
you
taxes.
get, the more it injures you.
New meaning to the phrase back tax.
I mean, it is not common in our office to hear the words uttered, I'm not sure they're going to survive this move.
Your marriage, are you sure you want to go through with this?
We
I'm not sure your
also-
marriage or your back can handle this.
JR and I have a theory that we came up with last week that building a house together increases your chance of divorce 25%.
Oh, I think there's actual studies.
Yeah, there are.
Because there is I don't know how many times I have shown up to an appointment and someone said, we built our dream house and now we're getting divorced. And I hate it.
I can't tell you how many times as a pastor somebody will say, hey, yeah, we're building. And I'm thinking, I don't know if your marriage can handle
Should we
that.
enroll you in marriage counseling now?
Yeah,
Just
right.
get started right away.
Man.
I think that
We have
key is-
premarital counseling. We'd have pre-building counseling.
You
counseling.
should.
That's
Yeah.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Market that thing.
Like we try to tell people, like you need to be prepared for how hard this is going to be. It's going to be a hard, long,
You know how
daunting
all those other
process.
things with parenting and your job, like they're going to continue.
Yes.
And you're going to have another job called building a house.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
prepared for that?
I
Yeah.
think the key is when you build a house like this for one of you to not care.
Yes.
Or
yeah.
I would say it differently.
I'm sure you would.
You gotta care because there's nothing worse if my wife says, "Hey, what color do you think?" And I go, "I don't care. You pick."
What
That
do you
is
want for dinner?
unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, unacceptable. So
I found that
you
out.
have to engage in the process, but not emotionally engage in the process.
And
So-
let it go. Say, this is my preference.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Oh, okay. We'll go
Oh yeah,
your
let's go.
way.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just
that was, to me, that was what I didn't really care about. I wanted the house wired for, I ran Cat 5 through the whole house
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
1999, which is now completely useless.
Right.
Because
Right.
you don't need it now.
Yeah. Right. Now that everything's wireless,
Oh man.
But actually,
but it's something
because
for the
of-
mice to chew through, which
It
is
is,
great.
but honestly, because of high-speed internet now, Cat 5 is coming back.
Yeah.
Because
Cat 6, right?
Cat 6, yeah. I've got Cat 8. all
Is
the
it
way.
Cat 8? Oh
I don't
my
even
gosh.
know what we're
Cat 8
talking
now.
about.
Cable, network cable.
Yeah.
Running network cable.
Ethernet,
Because
yeah.
sometimes
You
can
put
get
cats
an
in your
internet-
walls.
And the mice
internet
like it.
connection that's faster than your Wi-Fi, so you need the. It's like we're wired here.
Yeah.
I wired this because the Wi-Fi wasn't supporting what we were doing.
Right.
This is totally off subject, but I have a funny story.
What's
from
the
last night
subject?
That involves cats.
Nobody cares
You'd have to
about
be on
networking
subject to
cable
get off
anyway.
subject.
We're standing. Our neighbor has some kittens, and we're standing in the yard trying to play. The girls are trying to play with these kittens, which are like 8 weeks old and not having it yet, and the
Ugh.
mom is not having it yet. And we're standing there talking to our neighbor, who's a delightful neighbor. He's one of those people that keeps an eye on the neighborhood. Randy's awesome, and so we're sitting there playing with the kittens. And here around the corner comes a baby chicken, just like it 100% knows what it's doing, and we're like, where's this chicken coming from? I mean, it's just like this big. And it's running very confidently directly towards the kitten. Like, hello, friend. Where
You
is
know the
this?
old foghorn, leghorn?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
imagining
yeah,
the chicken
yeah.
hawk. You remember the chicken
Yeah,
hawk?
yeah.
Hey,
I'll say it. I'll say it.
And it's just running. And Claire just runs and scoops up the chicken. And I'm like, whose chicken is this?
Technically, it's a chick, right?
It was a chick,
Okay,
yes.
right.
It was a baby chick. It was also a different neighbor's. And so Randy went, I'm going to take this home. And we're just like, what's so random?
I love this town.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
great.
too.
I was thinking the same thing.
The funny neighborhood stuff. It's good times.
That's great. That's
Oh,
great stuff.
that reminds me to a point that I wanted to tell people. If you live in a neighborhood or live in a place where you can walk at all, I encourage you to walk places or just go on walks because it will give you so much more of an insight about your neighborhood and the people around you than it does driving a car through. So I'm going to encourage that again. That's totally back to it because you meet neighbors, funny things happen like chicks run around. And it's a good time. So I encourage you to walk through your neighborhoods and
All
talk
right,
to your neighbors.
I'm going to admit this. So y'all have been, and it's because I've lived here too long that I did not pick up on this, but I didn't want to admit that I didn't know what you were talking about. But you guys have been talking about like this other city park, this tiny park
Yeah.
that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I had no idea where that was
No,
or
you
what you were
wouldn't.
talking about.
Yeah, you wouldn't have.
And I finally drove by it the other day. I'm like,
Oh,
that's what they mean because there used to be a house there.
Yes. Yep.
And so I remember the way it's been for 40 years. So the fact that the house is gone and there's a park there now.
Yeah.
It's like, I now know exactly where it's at.
It's the
So
little
now I
park
know,
on
but
Main
I didn't-
Street.
I didn't
Yep.
know.
That's the little park on Main Street.
It is.
No,
It-
and there's no reason, honestly, to know about it unless you're involved with it somehow.
Unless
it's
you
a
can walk
cute-
to it, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a cute little park.
It
It's-
could be very
it's-
amazing.
It really
yeah.
could. Little bitty walking trail and some
Yeah.
some shrubbery.
Problem with that little
Robert
park
Baker.
is it occasionally feels like a swimming pool
Oh.
with water, which is why the house is no
So we
longer.
need a koi pond.
Yes, like a water it has a built-in water
we need
feature.
a water feature.
Yes.
It's our splash pad.
There you go.
Yeah, and
It's a hillbilly splash pad. That's exactly what
I don't want to give too much away, but I think the splash pad is headed in a positive direction.
It could actually happen,
I think we have progress being made towards that. I'm hearing. I met with the park director the other day, Katie, and they have a new park position, a park manager, which is a full-time position to work with Katie. So if anyone out there is interested in that,
Which
apply.
is great, because I can tell you, after taking yesterday off and spending all day in the yard and the garden,
Yeah.
summer is upon us. So the
Yes.
idea of a splash pad sounds pretty grand.
Yes, so
I would have hopped in there yesterday.
I think that's heading in the right direction.
I'm looking at our monitor. I know I should have realized this before, but
What is it?
which one of us spends time outside and which one of us is the indoorsman? Can you tell by looking at us?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to tell.
Pretty easy.
A lot of soccer coaching.
lost-
Easy to spot.
I've lost all of my tan
Yeah,
on my
in,
vacations.
in the
It's disappointing.
spring, yeah, but you take the shirt off though, and it's like, hey-oh, there's a coaching tan.
It's like,
I
He's got a
changed,
farmer's tan.
I
yeah.
changed out my shoes yesterday after the soccer game and took my sock off, and the girls were like, oh, put your dogs out, put your dog in. But they're like,
dogs up.
look at
That's
that
funny.
coaching tan. Because I mean, my foot is white, like
Sock
up to
line.
my ankle, there's this sock line,
There
and
is
it's
nothing
pretty,
as gross as just a
an old man's
wrinkly
foot,
white
an old
foot
man's,
coming out
yeah.
of a
Old man
sock.
foot.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's gross.
Yeah, I learned that yesterday. I didn't know it was such a big deal, but
It's a
evidently.
thing. I mean, I don't want to see my own wrinkly foot.
Oh, man.
JR's calling me. He doesn't understand I'm on the waffle.
on the
I can't
show.
answer
Or
the
is
phone
it an
right now.
emergency?
Put him live
It's
on the
not.
Put him on speakerphone.
Yeah, let's put him on. I'll set my mic right here.
Let's do that. I'm going to hang up on him.
Go ahead,
Beth
caller.
says-
You're on the air. Waffle.
First time caller, really like your show.
Long
It's,
time listener, first time caller.
Remember prank calling? That was fun. People don't do that anymore.
yeah, somebody at church on Sunday was talking about how, hey, you remember when you didn't have a readout and you didn't know it was a sales call and somebody's,
Yeah.
Remember
cold
when
call.
there wasn't a screen on
Right.
the phone?
Right,
When you
but he was
went like
reminding
this.
me of how we used to mess with them though.
All
yeah.
the time.
You know,
oh, yeah.
and so both sides, like when you'd get the call, you'd mess with people, but then you'd call people and mess with people.
I
was
still
great.
mess with people when they call me.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But now it's through text. Like you get the random text, like, "Hey, it's been a long time. Can we meet up for coffee?"
Oh yeah, I get the hey, and then you get the one that says, hey, I've got your number. Do we know each other?
Yeah.
And I'll text back, yeah, we know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you owe me money.
You owe me money.
Does it go pretty quiet?
It
Pretty quick?
does. It does. It goes real quiet.
I
after
just
that.
delete and report.
Oh,
You know, like,
sometimes I do. Sometimes
yeah.
it depends on what I've got going on.
oh man, it's so annoying.
I used to have a membership at Massage Envy for a while, years ago.
I forgot about that place.
Before
Is
the
it still
pandemic,
not-
you know,
is it
back
not
when
open?
people could still touch you.
Yeah. I'm surprised you ever let anybody touch
I
you.
know.
I know.
It's
That is
it's a
weird.
thing. But they would always call. They would always call to confirm the appointment, and I would always see it popping up. And they always said if you called them, they always said the same thing. It's Massage Envy on West Republic Road. How can I help you? And I don't know why it was, but I just had it in my head. I would answer the phone and go, Massage Envy, West Republic Road. How can I help you? When they would call me,
Oh, Will.
and they would go up
You did it like every time.
every time.
How did I call myself?
Every time. Yes, they would. What was really funny is when they had a second location, and you could answer it as if you were the second location, and that really messed with them.
Wow.
We're discovering so many things about Will this morning.
Well, just all the reasons that we now know why people don't like him. You know, like,
You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh, man.
My
brilliant.
mom's watching.
Oh.
That's what
oh,
people
your mom
don't know.
likes you.
Yeah, my mom.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Will's
You've
mom's
always
like,
got mom.
Now, Ballard, people like Will.
Well, what's fun? People. I mean, I can look here. I can see everybody that's watching because it says somebody's watching. somebody's
No, we do have
watching,
a crew watching this
Shayna's
morning.
watching. By the
Is
way.
she? Hey, sweetheart.
Beth
I'm
says excited
calling the
news.
garage door repairman. I
Sharon
promise.
Burney, Kathy King, all watching
stuff.
this today. Thanks for watching.
Beth is excited about the splash pad. I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I think there'll be more news coming about that. You mentioned COVID earlier, which brings me to a serious topic this morning.
Oh,
So I've been hearing a lot of people talk about their work is making them go back into the office full time. So we've been 3 years at home office or hybrid officing, and the companies have decided that, hey, it's time for you guys to come back to the office. And they set a date. You got to be all back in the office full time this time. And Which on the surface, I don't know. I have a mixed bag on this because it's really weird that we're like, everyone has to adjust their lives for 3 years. We're going to make you adjust your life again.
Yeah.
But then you really start thinking about it. And I know a lot of people, I mean, our family is part of this whole situation too. I know a lot of people who have completely adjusted their lives, and it's helped them with things like childcare, meeting kids on buses. Because you think about that, like if you have a kindergartner that wants to go to school, and if you're working from home, you can get your kid on the bus, and then you can be there when the kid needs to be, dropped off from school. So and the thing that I was thinking about last night is, we don't have enough childcare available, period, right?
Right.
And we don't have enough after school. Like Rogersville never has enough preschool spots because they can't. They don't have enough, they just don't. And so, here we are again adding a whole new wave of people, and it'll be gradual because this is happening now with multiple companies, and some of them have already gone back full time. And the interesting thing to me is that I'm not hearing any particular reasons from, the companies, like what is the reason you're doing this? Like, did your productivity drop 30%, or, what is it that is the reason? And part of the interesting fact too is, of course, these companies own large pieces of real estate that I think they have to justify, because that's...
Or better, try to offload them. I mean,
it's hard to offload them
you
now.
Can't
though.
sell,
You
you can't sell a giant office park now, right? But that leads me to my other thing is
turn it to a retirement home.
Yes, I think we should start turning those office parks and malls to like living communities. But anyway, that's a whole other different thing.
Like malls would be great for that. They could build
malls
a
would be
theater
so
and a
awesome
food
for that.
court.
I've been
It's already
saying that
there.
for
Love to
years.
live in a mall.
I've been
I know.
saying that for years. It makes
Live in a
so
mall.
much sense. And they're building places like this. There's a place in Springfield right now called the Preston that it has a pool. It's 3 meals a day. It's they basically just take care of you. And it's 55 plus, but you may not know this. A portion of 55 plus can be non-55.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Will's
Yes.
I'm getting excited.
Will's
Yes.
like, sign me up.
I've only got 3 years to go anyway.
I know, you'll be good. Yeah, legally they have to allow a certain percentage of people that are whatever age. So a lot of people don't know that. So they're building these, communities anyway. And
Sweetie, if you're still watching, get ready.
yeah, they got pools, 3 meals a day by a chef. All
Come
this
on.
stuff. I know.
I don't think it'd
So-
take much to entice her when you say stuff like that.
I know, pretty easy living. So, but I mean, it's not cheap, right?
Right,
That's
yeah.
the kicker.
Yep.
So, it is an
Oh,
interesting.
you save on gas. Somebody's cooking for you. If it's all tied
Well, you
in.
do lighthouse cleaning. Everything's
man.
included. Your
Oh,
internet,
man.
your pool, the whole.
Gotta do all the
Being on a
maths.
cruise, but you don't have to go anywhere.
Exactly, and they're really nice too. So I mean, this
And
is
except there's no way to throw people off the boat.
no, you can't throw people. I mean,
There's always.
I'm
there's
kidding.
always a
I'm
way.
kidding.
I kid.
I heard pool.
I don't know what happened. I
don't know what happened.
Thought I could swim.
Well, but back to what you were saying is, I think as long as companies are being smart and businesses are being smart, like, is this the right thing to do? And like you said, you don't know what the reason is. Golly, it's just like, so I'm a little disappointed in my profession. Not that I go to court much anymore, but that was such a good opportunity to get everybody on board with video court, which would be such a boon
so much
to my
sense.
profession. Because
Yes.
lawyers that go to court like I did, I mean, hours and hours and hours and weeks and probably years of my life were spent in a courtroom, sitting in a courtroom,
Waiting.
waiting when I could be at my desk or at home or on vacation and like, boop, boop. Yeah, it's time for your case.
Yep.
Okay, judge, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Boop,
Yes.
we're done. Because you wait for hours for a 5-minute hearing. And I don't think we preserved that at all. I think everyone went,
So
okay, come back to
weird.
court. And I mean, it was just such a great opportunity.
So-
And missed it because we did that. We did that for a while. Now, there's tons of people like, well, I can't figure out the technology. I'm sorry, I get that. But you should have, but both options should be available. If
Yeah.
you want to go to court, go to court. If you want to call in video, go video.
There's tons of people who have a hardship who can't get to court, and that causes all kinds of
Well,
problems.
and that was great for our municipal courts. And granted, I guess I'm just as guilty because I don't have video courts for my courts either anymore. But I do remember, I think we actually had some people showing up for court that we otherwise might not
Wouldn't
have show up
have.
for court because they could hop on the video call.
A lot of them don't have a driver's license.
Well,
I'm
let
gonna have to
me be
revisit
the
that. I mean-
extrovert in the room.
Yeah.
I do believe there are good reasons to have people in the room together.
I agree with that too.
You know, we're communal people. We're communal creatures, and so I think the pendulum swung too far the other way, where we've seen a dip in customer care.
But we also saw some mental health issues.
Well, that's the deal. There's mental health issues,
Oh, yeah.
but the further away you get from your clients or from whatever, fill in the blank there on how you interact with customers or staff members or whatever, the further we get away from that, the harder it is to sympathize, to be empathetic with people,
I agree.
because some of that stuff doesn't transfer across the screen. And so, like, I've had a situation recently where my insurance, car and home stuff is all online, and I paid 2 months, way more than I should have, because they sent a form that I never saw, and I didn't update the mileage on my vehicles, and so they took me to the higher premium. And my point to them was, okay, well, now that I know that I got to fill this form out, I assume you're going to prorate the next couple of months. And they're like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what attempts did you make? Because you remember the old days, and this still happens, which is another reason to shop local, right? And which I'm going to be doing now, for any insurance agencies out there watching.
Season's open.
But a good agent's going to
spot right down there for a logo for a local insurance agent.
Just saying.
Saying.
Well, I can remember a time here in this very office that Larry Lister used to run an insurance agency out of, and my homeowners was through him. And I remember a couple times where he called me.
Oh, absolutely.
Or saw me in the coffee shop and said, "Hey, there's this thing we need to do the renewal." It's so much better than an email or text, because I don't know about y'all, but my emails and texts sometimes get buried. It's really easy to miss stuff like that because you think it's junk mail when you first see it.
It is tricky, especially coming from other businesses.
But that personal touch is my point,
Yeah.
where it's a person I know who cares about me and my family and is going to say, oh, hey, you got to get this done or your rate's going to go up. You don't get that, when everything's virtual or when everything's run through an app.
AI. And it's AI running.
Right,
weird.
right. And then you can't even get to an agent to speak to because they just want to do the automated stuff. So anyway, all that to say, on the other side of the coin, I do believe that we need to find a balance between what is virtual and then also being in the same room, having that actual meeting face to face. It doesn't have to be every meeting, but some meetings you need to come together and be in the same room.
To me, that's your hybrid work schedule. Because the other thing that we haven't compensated for is the fact that pretty much both parents are working now. You might have somebody that's a stay-at-home parent, but they're not like in the home throughout the day like that parent used to be.
Yeah.
They're running kids around.
Or,
they're doing maybe a side business like photography or lawn mowing or something like that. Or online work where it's not a full-time job. But a lot of people that I know that are stay-at-home parents are doing a part-time job on top of that and remotely.
Like real estate.
Yeah.
Part-time like real estate.
Oh, don't even get me started.
I'm sorry. The only reason I get on that is because I can tell when a new class graduates
I know.
from real estate school.
I know.
Because I'll get about 20 friend requests
On Facebook,
I know.
and then you look at their profile like, I'm a realtor. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it.
Well,
they got to be teaching the class on that.
It's one of the many
They are.
professions because people seem to not want to do the 8 to 5 anymore. They don't want to be tied to something. So they get their real estate license. They start a lawn mowing business. They do a home bakery. They do some crafting stuff. There's this whole industry, I feel like, of these I call them side gigs, even though every single one of those can be a full-time gig, right? So there's a lot of people that don't want to be committed to the 8 to 5 or whatever schedule it is.
And that's not a bad thing. I mean,
No,
I'm
it's not
a
a
fan
bad
of
thing.
that. I think that's...
But realistically, not everybody can do it.
Well,
No,
and
they
we
can't.
have positions that aren't filled, right, throughout the, job workforce.
And personally, as probably grumpy old man coming out, I get a little frustrated when I see I don't know, I'm going to pick on somebody unintentionally, like the 8th bakery show up in town.
Yeah.
I'm like, we've got that,
Yes. Well,
But if it's your passion, I get it, go for it.
It seems to happen though, it seems to happen especially in small towns because you notice it more. Because it happens in Springfield too, but you don't notice it because there's so many businesses. Somebody opens something and it's successful, and people think, well, they're doing it. I should try to do this too. I've always had a passion
Everybody
of
loves
this.
my cupcakes.
Everybody loves my cupcakes. I'm going to do it too.
Right.
And I mean, we're just creatures of
Yep.
that. We've always done that. But it's very noticeable in small towns where you only have a couple of shopping centers and, you know,
that's true.
it's like, here we are. So, and I agree that too, but the problem is what typically happens is the person's intention isn't to do that as a full-time job and commit 100% to it. And so it's a temporary thing, is what ends up being the deal. And I mean, corporate America has created terrible job dissatisfaction. I mean, because of things like this, they don't take into account that their employees are humans that have families or have obligations, and they also don't take into fact, you know, the amount of time that their employees are spending driving. Because anymore now, even if you live in Springfield, it could take you 20 or 30 minutes to get to your job.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that came to my mind. Okay,
Yeah.
if everybody has to go back to the office, just think of the gas expense.
Gas
I
expense.
mean, that's a massive
wear on your
expenditure right now
vehicle.
for.
I mean, taking your life in your own hands, driving on 60 right now.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Holy moly.
I'm glad I have a huge truck.
Oh, I bet people, when you're in the concrete barriers at 125, I bet they're like, I want to be next to that.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Me and another guy, we're both in big, we're passing each other like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah,
Like,
hold the line.
It's very tight margins for
It
sure.
is very tight. My grandpa is like 87, and him and my grandma came out to go to Time to Loaf the other day, and Pop was like,
great bakery, by the way.
it is delicious. Pop was like, it's a little tricky driving out here. I'm like, yeah, and he drives like a pretty big kind of town car type car. I'm like, did you get between the barriers? He's like, I was next to a truck.
That's right. Your old style town car is a tank. It can handle it.
Handle it. Ping, 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 ping. That's not very fine.
Bumper bowling.
There's an old Atari game called Slot Racer. That's what that always reminds me of.
Yes. Yeah.
And please drive 50 miles per hour.
No doubt. So, you know, teaching my, young driver, Maddox,
Oh
to
my
drive, and she's
gosh.
like, following the rules. She's like, why is everybody just zipping past me? I'm like,
dangerous.
because people are idiots.
It's so, there's a reason, and I mean, sometimes you're in a construction zone and you're like, this is not necessary. That speed limit
It's
is
necessary.
necessary.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Nobody needs to be driving over 50 in that thing. I mean, I'm not comfortable.
Over 50 on your phone, tight margins.
Oh
What could
my
go
gosh.
wrong?
Oh, geez, it's so bad.
I'm shocked by the people that I see with the phone
Yes.
driving in hand.
I love this. They're driving
Reading.
like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how? Your eyes aren't even close. Like, they're not even
I
close.
think what I'm seeing is people talking on speakerphone. You know,
Hold
They
it
know
out
that
here.
they can set it like
it.
anywhere.
I
mean,
guess-
it could literally.
No, I got to have it right here.
they make these really cool things called mounts, and you just
That's so nerdy.
Just stick it.
That's kind of
there.
like wearing it on your clip on your belt.
well, that's.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's super cool.
The OGs are out here doing this.
Yeah, not me. I got it mounted to the truck.
So I mean, we're in an interesting time though in 2023 because we have, COVID is over, and now we're going back to prior to COVID. It seems
It's
like
still wrecking people's lives.
it's still wrecking people's lives, and
Thanks, Beth. I got that. But
we
I don't know
have-
what to do about it. One of our
no.
mics is making some noise.
I don't know
It's
what
probably
to do.
me. I hit a button earlier.
Yeah, there's lots of buttons getting hit. So I mean, there's lots of interesting thing happens right now. I saw a video, and to me it was the perfect metaphor for 2023. It said youth sports in 2023, but I think this applies to everything. There were two teams. There was one team, two on the field playing soccer. One team, there's these like 5 or 6 year olds. One team is like has no coaches. Half the kids don't want to play. It's a complete mess. The other team, they were
Well
running
drilled.
drills with
Yeah,
parachutes. Had like semi-pro, coaches, and they looked like an elite force of athletes. And I'm like, that's 2023 in a nutshell. It is.
That's a great word picture.
Yeah. And I wish I could find the video because I thought about it all weekend long after I saw it, and I'm like, this is so true. Like, that's it. It's either
All in or nothing.
or nothing, or
Yeah.
just, bare minimum at best.
Oh man,
So it's a funky time.
Let's go all in.
funky.
I
all
think
in.
we're all in.
I'm
I think
all
we've
in.
been all in.
Yep.
That's all I've ever known in life is all in. So
Yeah, I'm pretty well that same way.
yeah.
There's times where I want to not be all in.
come
and
on,
I'm
Beth.
still in.
It's not happening.
It's not. Oh my gosh, it's 8:30. So
Hey, speaking of food, Valley
'cause we
Mountain
started
Quality
15 minutes
Meats
late. Yeah.
provided some great support for us. We had a
yeah,
Ballard
how was
family
how was
fundraiser
the
on
Ballard
Sunday. It was
Bolivian
awesome.
barbecue?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Well,
great,
we cooked.
great crowd and lots of
Good.
money raised, and we appreciate the support. It was
Wonderful.
awesome. So thank you to our sponsor.
I cooked Valley Mountain meat for Brittany's,
that the FFA?
Brittany's customer appreciation.
Oh,
Day.
for all
Yeah,
just
we-
customer
Yeah,
appreciation.
we made that was a Kevin Lane gig, and
Oh, cool.
he hired me to run the grill.
I couldn't make it to that. I can't
Hired
remember.
me.
I had a lot going
that's
on this weekend.
That's a pretty euphemistic term.
Will for hire.
He didn't pay lawyer rates. We'll put it like that.
That's funny.
Hey, you're the one that wanted to become a chef.
I
so,
know.
yeah.
That is true.
It's fun. I enjoy it. I had a good
It's
time.
fun. I like that. But there is lots of stuff happening and going on. Teacher appreciation is
Oh,
this week in Rogersville, so give your teachers
Track and field
some
day.
love. Track and field day is going down.
Yep.
Today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Last week of sports for most of the spring season, and then so like girls soccer as district starting on Saturday.
That's exciting.
Carries over into Monday and Wednesday, but if we progress, assuming we progress, we're the number 1 seed, so that's
Hopeful
good.
progression.
But yeah, all the baseball's in the same boat. All the spring sports are winding up, and yeah, graduation on Sunday as we mentioned, and
Kitty Cat volleyball camp's happening 3 nights this week, so that was fun. Coach Hutch and the girls did a great job last night. That's a great camp. That's for the littles. It starts with the littles and then gradually goes
Yeah.
up to the ages. It's a 3-night camp, and it's wonderful because it introduces them to the sport, but it's not this crazy overcommitment, and it's very age-based. So they do a great job with it every year. We
did
enjoy
the
that.
Young Life banquet.
Yeah, I saw
Saturday
that.
night. That was pretty fun.
That's cool.
There was a little trivia going on, and you can go back and you don't have to watch the whole thing, but if you go back and look at just watch it. There's a QR code that pops up on the screen for the whole video, and you can point your phone at it, click the link that pops up, and you can donate to Rogersville Young Life. the
Wonderful
local-
cause.
Yeah, great cause.
Help lots of kids throughout the years.
Okay, well, short show because we got started late, but we probably need to shut her down.
Lots of stuff going on. We're winding down the school year, and summer is upon us. We have summer temperatures.
all the summer stuff is going to be coming up.
I got cilantro for you in the truck.
And I'm going to plant some cilantro. I've got a good spot for it. I'm glad you said that.
Nice.
Okay, we'll be back next week. Thanks for watching.